Hello and welcome to another edition of the Moving Iron Podcast. This podcast is proudly provided by Axon, helping dealers move more iron for almost 100 years. Find out more at axontire.com. Axon was started almost 100 years ago out of a passion for keeping agriculture moving. It's that same passion that drives them today. With a vision for a better experience for both farmer and dealer, they set out to create a better way to move more iron. When you partner with Axon, you get immediate access to a full range of products and solutions designed to meet the complex needs of today's grower. Axon carries all major brands and sizes of tires, wheels, and tracks. From custom colors and sizes to fully customized wheels, you can have the solution for virtually any problem today's farmer is trying to solve. To find more or become an Axon dealer, please visit axontire.com. This podcast is also brought to you by Valley Transportation. Valley has over 33 years in the trucking business, moving ag and construction equipment across the country. For more information, go to valleytransinc.com or give Parker a call at 800-657-4910. At Valley Transportation, our goal is to help you reach yours.
Moving higher in the 21st century. Hard-working people working hard for you and me. Moving higher, time and time again. Through the years you'll find us here. Moving higher.
Hello and welcome to Moving Iron Podcast 241. This edition of the Moving Iron Podcast is brought to you by Axon Tire, helping dealers move more iron for the past 100 years. For more information, go to axontire.com. Aaron.
Yes, sir.
When was the last time you sent an email to somebody and got something for free?
Been a minute.
Been a minute?
Been several.
Well, I can tell you right now, if you're interested in a really awesome gift from the folks at Axon Tire, send an email to marketing@axontire.com and make sure that you mention Moving Iron Podcast, and they'll send you a free pair of deerskin work gloves. Right?
That's fantastic.
That is pretty cool. It really is. So just send an email to marketing@axontire.com and make sure that you mention Moving Iron Podcast, and the great folks at Axon Tire, Jesse and the gang over there, will send you a very fashionable pair of deerskin work gloves. Check that out.
Welcome to winter.
That's right. Exactly. Someday it's going to come, right?
There you go.
Valley Transportation has been hauling ag equipment and construction equipment across the country for the past 33 years. Call Parker at 800-657-4910 for all of your trucking needs. At Valley Transportation, our goal is to help you reach yours. And no matter how you buy ag equipment, from a dealer, an auction, or a private party, Ag Direct can finance it. You can even apply online at agdirect.com. So for more information, go to Axon. Go to agdirect.com, and you can get yourself all of your financing options out there for the world to see. So make sure you check that out at agdirect.com. As you can tell, Aaron Fiddle's back with me here. He's the official co-host of the Moving Iron Podcast, by the way. So I'm just going to go ahead and slap that on there.
Just waiting for the badge in the mail.
That's right. That's right. He had about
Oh, shit.
What's that?
Just like on favorite TV show, I could have a bulletproof vest, and instead of saying livestock commissioner, it could say co-host. I can walk around and do whatever the hell I want.
As long as we're recording, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you go anywhere else.
We'll just do like some kind of live feed all the time.
You could wear that. If you wear that co-host of Moving Iron Podcast on a jacket and took $100 with you, you could get a steak anywhere at any steakhouse.
Not any, but most. Welcome to the Dutton Ranch.
So, Aaron's on here. It only took him it's like a 4-year audition for you to get on to be the.
And I still made it.
You still made it, just under the wire though.
Man, that is a low bar. Who knew somebody 6'6" was so damn good at limbo?
Yeah, no kidding, right? No kidding. All right. So we've kind of done this 4-part series thing for a while, and I think the last part, we've kind of hit the high points of that. We talked about planters, we talked about hay equipment, we talked about tractors. We always talk about combines, so we're not going to necessarily talk about that one. But
other than one little tidbit,
what's that?
Combines are selling.
They are selling. They are flying off the shelf.
They're not at auctions.
Yeah.
They're bringing close to advertised price.
Yeah.
Combines are selling.
Combines.
I never thought I'd see the day, and here we are.
It is a uniquely
Welcome to unemployment, Aaron.
Yeah, but believe me, it won't take long for those suckers to start piling back up again. You know.
Necessary evil.
It's the what's that old adage? You know, if one person sneezes, somebody else around the world's got the flu. And,
I've never heard that.
And the combines are that way.
Oh yeah.
This year you don't get a sneeze though; you just wake up with the flu.
Right.
That's how it works. So
there you go.
So we've done that, and like you said, we've talked about combines all the time, and I think 2021 is one of those years. Kind of look back on 2021 here and kind of get an idea of a feel of what that looks like, and then what trends we see carrying over into 22. And for me, 2021 was a take all the playbooks you have and throw them in the trash, because there was nothing about 2021 that was at all remotely
sane
or like there was nothing that you could say that you could look back on historically anywhere.
Right.
When my son mows grass for a living, and he's 15, so living is, I'm going to use air quotes on that, but one of the lawns he mows is for a local case guy here in town. His name is Kenny Shriver. Kenny Shriver, yep. And Kenny Shriver is, I want to say, like 91 or 2, maybe 90, something like that. And he's been selling equipment literally longer than I've been alive. He's been selling equipment since 1945 or something like that, right after World War II, right? And he tells me the stories all the time about the first thing he sold was Case Company, J.I. Case.
Jerome Ernest. Jerome Increase. Sorry.
They sold these creamers. And these creamers...
Cream separators,
yep. Yeah. And he got $25 for one of those he sold. So you think about $25 in 1945, that's kind of that's a big deal, right? He made an art out of selling those cream separators. So I asked him, I'm like, Kenny, I've never seen this before, but I've only been doing this for, 15 years. In all of your years of experience, have you ever seen anything like this where there's no used equipment to sell, no new equipment to sell? Because usually if you've got a bunch of new, you might not have any used. If you got a bunch of used, you might not have that much new. There's always a yin and a yang. Or we got a bunch of everything, the commodity prices are the same, and we're just going to sell shit out of everything.
Right.
And he goes, I have never in my entire life seen of or heard of anything like this. So if a guy that's been selling equipment for the better part of 2/3 of his life, literally 2/3 of his entire life,
right.
I gotta believe that this was some seriously uncharted territory that we never crossed. And all the stuff that I do when I look at trend lines and how the market's playing out, and month over month this and month over month that, then we kind of started talking about that in the first of the year. We had those, from January, February, March, we started talking about row crop tractors. Oh my God, those were the first thing to take off and fly, and here they're just flying off the shelf. And we dumped 6,000 units off the retail marketplace in just a few months. And we had that thing happen, and then all of a sudden combines kind of started catching on fire and running, and then all of a sudden sprayers, which was everybody's favorite dog to kick, started taking off and going. And then by the time we get to where we're at today, late December 2021, you step back and take a look at this, and the whole world's on fire.
Oh, yeah.
And there's not enough fire trucks to put any of that fire out.
You went, in 1 month period, from a four-wheel drive being the one tractor available in the wholesale world to, why in the hell did you email me or text me about a four-wheel drive? Are you nuts? Yeah. Are you feeling ill?
Right.
In 1 month.
Yeah. Yep.
Like the one thing you can get to, there's no way on earth with your firstborn you can have this.
Right. Yep. And the other funny thing too was
just insane.
Remember how fast? So it's like the combine thing took a while to kind of catch on fire and run. But you remember leading up to that, and then to me this is like a new canary in the coal mine thing. How fast combine heads went. Corn heads.
Oh yeah,
and platform heads, especially rigid flex strippers.
But I want one of those. Can we build a rigid flex draper?
It'd be the single most confusing thing on the planet. I'm so confused. What am I supposed to do?
It doesn't do shit.
What do I do with my hands? I don't know. So if you have that whole thing set up, rigid flex drapers went fast, but corn heads went like that.
It was.
You know what I mean?
It was like 1 week in September.
Yeah, and you wake up one morning, and this was like corn heads were selling, like people were fighting over corn heads in May,
Yeah.
in April. I mean, they hadn't even planted corn yet.
And you know what? But here is why the market took such a hit. It's because nobody got any new ones, so all the used ones went back out and
Right.
off the advertisement. Huge hit. I know that from personal experience. I had to unsell several heads.
Well, how many used corn heads do you have in the market right now?
Right now?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Hardly any. I mean, that's
There
why.
you go. One dealer in New Mexico has an 843 low 10 oil bath. That is it. But you can get a Bish adapter, put it on an X9, 88, all the way down to an 8820.
Yeah,
We're good.
The problem with putting on the X9 is that the X9 would actually eat the head because the
Probably would.
the throat is so open.
Right. Open throat.
Hey, how fast are you going that X9 with that 8-reel corn head? 22 miles an hour.
If you drive fast enough, it just throws the ears up in the bin.
But if you look at those kind of things, this year had an oddly, what's the way to put this? It had like an odd feel to what was going on because there was some panic coming into 21
Right.
out of 20 because you got to remember now. All that being said, March of 20, right? March of 20.
The world shut down.
Corn hit $3, right? Fast forward to like September, October, and corn actually had gained $3. And I remember driving to work one day. It's like corn's going to hit $6 today. Holy crap!
Right,
and it did. It got to $6, and then it went to $6.50 something or another. But then it had a quick retreat back down to like $5.25, $4.98, something like that. But now it's built back up to where we're at today. Now, there has been so many things happen this year that we had to kind of reinvent the wheel to make things happen, right?
Yeah.
Now, not reinvent the wheel in a bad way because, I mean, not like there was a bunch of a struggle trying to get things to sell or trying to find buyers for anything or those kind of things. You know, I had Tony Laporta on here a couple podcasts ago, and he was talking about the what's the cost of uncertainty look like, and I think 2021 has been that so far.
Yeah, that's very well put.
You know what I mean? It's been like, I don't know what to do, so I don't know, I'm going to miss out on a deal someplace, or I'm going to miss out on this, or
Irrational behaviors.
All the guys that sold their corn for $3.75 coming in to 2020, $4, something like that. If they had waited till March, which no one never does, right? But hypothetically, had they waited till March and listened to guys like Sean Hackett that were saying, like, don't sell anything till March because we're going to see this big run, they would have sold their corn for $7. We had guys that had corn in March that were selling stuff to ethanol plants for $7.80. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because they were paying $2 above the board.
Exactly.
Because they needed corn. So I don't know if the ethanol plant
in an area
enough,
where the basis is bigger than anywhere else in the country.
Yeah, oddly enough, that ethanol plant manager they had a new one come in shortly after that. So I don't know if that was a planned thing or just coincidence.
But good job, guys.
But that being said, it was just like a year full of what's going to happen next.
Right.
Where am I? What am I doing? What's the right thing for me to do? I've got so many choices to make right now on so many different things across the board. Which one do I need to prioritize? How am I going to prioritize and execute these million different things going on around me?
Yeah.
And that's what 2021 has been, even to this day. Where it's the 22nd of December right now. So for basically 12 and a half months, it's been like, all right, today's a new day, and we've got a whole new set of decisions to make that we've never had to make before. What's the right one going to be?
Right.
It's a crazy year. Absolutely crazy. Crazy in a fun way, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because, I mean, we're in our profession, we're in a bang out.
Like, you really can't do anything wrong.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, you can, but if you just wait long enough, it makes it right.
Yeah, exactly. Man,
it wasn't like in
for that
2014.
in May. Oh, welcome to October. I would like that tractor. Terrific.
Remember in 2014, we were like, all right, so here's it is today. We think it's going to be here in 6 months.
Yeah.
Or it was there in 30 days.
Next month.
Yeah. And we're like, okay, we're pretty sure in like 3 months from now, it's going to be bam, based on where we're at now.
Okay, 3 auctions ago it was this, 2 auctions ago, 1 auction ago, so
that exponential explosion, like from like in 2014 of like March of 2014, when all those planners hit the market and through auction.
Oh my God!
That exponential explosion of, okay, this in March this same planner sold for $100,000. The exact same planner in September is selling for like $40,000.
Right.
$100,000 swing in planners over a course of a year.
So bad.
And you couldn't give them. You just could not give one away.
No, a 24-row planner.
Yeah.
And look where we are today.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how old it is because they'll throw whatever on it.
Yep.
But my God, man, if you're even close since that day, well, everybody purging them. It worked.
Yeah.
Hate to say it.
It did.
Now, when we get back to a normal economy and a normal inventory level in the dealer world, normal, which we're a ways from,
Right.
everybody go dump your combines quick and we'll fix the combine problem forever, too.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing, too. That's the one thing that going into 22 that I'm paying attention to is how fast do combines pile up and when does that start? It's always the first thing that piles up.
Oh, yeah.
Always the first thing. I mean, there was a combine problem 3 years before there was a planter problem.
Oh, there was a combine problem decades before there was a planter problem.
A perceived combine problem, right? Because we were having those conversations in 2012 and 2013.
No, I mean back in the 90s.
Oh, sure, yeah.
The 9600s that, I bought this 2 years ago for $150 and now it's worth $35.
Yeah.
Like, holy, that was the ass kicking of all time.
So I think in 22.
Did the industry learn? No. They're called 12s and 13s and they're referred to often on this podcast without very much love.
Yeah, and I think, and I don't know if they ever will. I don't think as the industry we're ever going to.
All of a sudden someday, like a 13's cool.
No, I don't think. I mean, when it comes to looking at inventory, I think it's going to be hard to ever pull back the rein. You know, I've used the analogy several times that in 2012, the rocket ship was off the rails, and it was just going so hard and so fast straight up that it still had enough, glide path to just keep going and going and going because it took off so fast and so hot and heavy that when it started making that curve back down, we'd already had a problem for 2 years.
Oh, I get it.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. We were auctioning combines in 2012.
Oh yeah, 70s were piled up. You're right.
We were taking them to auction, and we were losing 30 and 40 and 50,000.
Hell yes, lots and lots of 70s.
Yes.
The golden child now.
Yeah.
God, just imagine you put all them in a shed.
But what was the driving factor of that? On-farm income was high. Everybody's buying new.
Right.
Nobody wanted to buy a used one, right? No. And the guys that did want to buy a used one, I mean, they were few and far between. It's just how it was. But that trajectory,
and the world was their oyster because
sure, it was.
Sit around another couple weeks, they might drop the price again.
I remember I spoke at a conference in 2013. I don't remember where it was at, but I was speaking at it and I was talking about used equipment and, hey, we got some issues to start thinking about, and the leasing thing kind of started to fall into play, and
you mentioned that in 2020 a pandemic would take over the world and there would be a massive microchip shortage.
There was not quite that in tune to the market then. But I was talking about leasing was kind of starting to ease its way into the conversation, right? And I remember sitting there, a guy was like, what's the best thing I need to do with my equipment? I'm like, dude, that totally depends on your market. I mean, I can't tell you what the best thing for you, because it's not a cookie cutter, man.
Right.
What's good for you is not good for me. If you're a high equity person and you want to go to lease stuff, that's not a good idea.
Right.
Because you've got all this equity that you're going to lose.
Run the other way, man.
I mean, so your equity position should allow you to run your equipment cheaper because of where you're at equity-wise, right?
That worked for a couple of guys in like 15, 16.
Exactly, yeah. There were a lot of guys that chewed up equity because it was $35,000 a year to run a combine.
Right.
And then they got to that end of that 3-year thing, and they're like, okay, cool, so I'm going to go ahead and... no, actually, you're at zero now.
Yeah.
Right? You're back to zero. Now, guys that were in a position where they had some equity, but they were kind of break even, they were maybe underwater a little bit, but maybe right on top. Leasing was a freaking gift from God.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Because they had an opportunity to sit back and be like,
if they were a little upside down, they roll that into their lease. It becomes part of the payment. Whatever.
And then they get. And my whole thing back then was like, you hedge your corn, hedge your iron. Right. You have 3 options on a lease. You can release it, you can buy it out, or, when I mean buy it out, I mean like you're going to do a principal note, right? And the third one is you can turn it back and be like, let's do this all over again, boys. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Here's my $30,000 or $50,000 for my first payment. Let's see what happens again.
Exactly.
And that was 2014 to 2018.
18 for sure.
You know what I mean? And that's how that was. And all the finance companies, I don't care who you were. Think about how many phone calls we were working used equipment, you and me. How many phone calls we'd get from some leasing
North Alaskan financial leasing company.
You ever think about getting into this ag finance thing? And, we'd like to get your business if we could do that. I'm like, what are you talking about, dude? I mean, you know how many people are doing this right now?
Right.
I mean, I know, I get it. I mean, there's always a guy that's late to the party, but when you're calling me in 2018 and you're like, hey, I'm really thinking about getting into this ag leasing thing. What do you think about it? I'm like, it's like you and 500 other people, man.
Find a DeLorean, brother.
No kidding.
Find a
You
DeLorean.
need to go. You're like.
Where the hell's Doc Brown?
Dude, you're like Nelson trying to play hair band music in '93. You know what I mean? Like you just
sit around listening to them tapes all day.
You're just a little bit too late. You know what I mean? So I think there's this.
I never, in all of our years, and the period of time which we were 6 inches apart, never knew that someday this podcast thing would happen and our Nelson discussion would appear on it. We're going to have a podcast and like several years in, this whole Nelson discussion will come in and be like, no shit, sign me up, man.
It's like you have Smells Like Teen Spirit, and then the very next video on MTV is After the Rain by Nelson.
Right.
Total, like, you could not, then Soundgarden right after that.
Yeah. Was that an old Poison video?
Yeah.
Or what was that?
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
They're like the guy at the party that is like, you find this guy again? But yeah, dude. But he brought bottles of beer. Like, he's going to give everyone beer out of a bottle, nonetheless, right? All right, fine. Nelson can come and play. That's where we're at. But I think, you look at all those things that were going on, and now the leasing thing, because of equity position, this kind of thing, leasing's really not something I even recommend to people anymore. So it's just one of those things.
Well, by the time you run a payment and you run a purchase payment.
Right, yeah, exactly. It's about the same. So why would you not build equity when you lease? I get
exactly.
Now, the flip side of that is, what's that look like going into 22? I don't think it changes much, but it wouldn't at all surprise me to see a supply of combines late 22 going into 23, that we don't see like a huge pile up of combines, but we start seeing like combines are starting to kind of
you do have to wonder about that, just given the substantial amount of new sold coupled with the lack of a combine problem in the used market tells you that they're being bought substantially daily. So I could get on board with that. I think you're going to have
you're going to see the first
you're going to have a guy behind the steering wheel problem.
Yeah, I think so. I think you'll have. You start seeing the signs of that a little bit.
I know me personally, I've traded a lot of 70 and older on S7.
Right. Now, the one thing that I could say about this that I think there might be some level of, you know what, I think that I can get this combine. Say there's a particular combine available today, and then I'm going to order a new combine. I'm going to get this combine that's available today, trade my combine in on this one because I'm going to max out my equity position, and then I'm going to jump into this combine over here, and I'm going to ride that train until my new one comes in the fall or whatever. I got to go through the spring or whatever.
Right.
Or I'm going to ride that through all of 22 and 23 my new one shows up. And lo and behold, the cost of operation to run that 22 or that 21 and 22 that had hardly any hours on it because they showed up late in 21.
Right.
My cost of operation, my depreciation is next to nothing because of where the market's at.
Yeah, but
You know what I mean?
in conjunction with your slight pile up at the end of 22, that would defunct that.
But I don't think that the market's going to catch it.
I got
When
you.
I look out my window and I see two combines sitting out there that I don't know who I'm going to sell them to, I'm not worried about that.
Right.
When I look out my window and I see, what used to be a hedgerow, it does, got
I can't see the highway.
yeah, the shadow from the combines killed the hedgerow
Right.
type of thing. That's when I start to worry. When you have a combine section of your
Right.
of your lot,
Right.
that's when you have to worry about that. Because usually the combine section is like those auction videos you see where there's like to the horizon point, there's just like this long line of combines. And they're like, this is
Exactly.
going to be a good sale. It's like, no, it's not.
Right.
It's not going to be a good
If you're
sale.
buying a combine, it is.
I mean, yeah, if you don't be the first one to buy a combine.
Right.
Wait till like the 7th or 8th or
Yeah.
10th combine, and then jump in. You're going to get a deal,
Yep.
right?
Absolutely.
Because the first 5 that go are the ones everybody wants anyway. They've got the whatever, and they've got the hours, and they got this. Those are the ones people came to show up for. It's the next 15 that are like, I guess I'm here.
Yeah, if you can fold the bin down and not push a button,
Right.
there's a deal for you today.
Right. And I think that's what that 2022, you and I will have a conversation in December of 22 that I think goes around. I'm starting to see a few combines piling up a little bit here and there.
First of all, you have more faith in our friendship than I do because that's a year from now. Anything could happen. Second of all, I hate to say this because I exist on this earth for the last decade because of used combines. I hate to say it. I hope you're right. I do because that's my wheelhouse. But I don't think that's going to happen.
I think we're going to
I can totally see it just due to front lines every day
Yep.
and knowing what's gone from us, what through the years is a problem and what through this year is not even here.
Right?
Yeah, things are awry, if you will.
Yeah.
And I think that specifically, and I think part of it might be the panic stuff, I don't know. But I think that specifically is why your point would work. But I just don't think. And keep in mind, I was one of those guys that's like, oh hell, 18 months, we'll have shit piled up. This will be over with. And then everybody got me on the 3-year kick.
Mm-hmm.
If that's the case, and knowing where manufacturers are at almost day-to-day basis, week-to-week basis, I don't see that happening.
So I want to make sure you understand what I'm saying about a pileup. I'm not talking like full-blown
No, I know. Right.
5-alarm fire.
Not
I'm talking
100
like
combines in inventory.
There's
but,
2 combines out there that we don't know what we're going to do with.
Right.
That's
Right.
and then
No, I know. I get it.
this is like that precursor to the any zombie movie. Like one guy gets it, and then the next guy gets it, and then before you know it, there's 7 or 8 guys running around trying to
Right.
like eat your brains. Right. That's what I'm talking about. It's like we're gonna have that conversation. I'm like, I don't know, dude. There's a few comments out there. The minute that you have combines that you don't have buyers for, whether it's 1 or 100, they're like rabbits, dude. They multiply quick.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you're talking like feral pigs, right? I mean, like there were 5, and all of a sudden there's 25, and we just went to sleep.
Well, and it's one of those. It also becomes a math problem of there's a buyer for everything. What's the number?
Right.
If those start to slightly stack, they fall.
Yeah.
They fall quick. They fall hard.
Yep. And I think, that's what I think that when it combines.
Man, now I feel like we're on the podcast again. Talk about values falling, not. Well, look one up on the internet, and I'll give you 10+%. So the other dealer.
I think going into 23, out of 22, going into 23, at the end of 22 or 23, you and I will be having a conversation about combines. That is like, you know what, man, I'm really starting to feel some pressure on combines.
I get it. I could see it either way. I really could.
Because I don't think I think a combine.
If I disagreed with you, we'd have nothing to talk about.
Exactly, especially when it comes to just the sheer price of equipment these days.
Right.
Right. I mean, you're talking.
It's just.
I mean, you're gonna start talking about some used combines that are gonna be hitting the $500,000 mark. You know,
You can buy a hell of a good machine for what your down payment is on some things, man.
Oh, sure, yeah. I mean, so you start looking at that perspective. Now, guys are going to start looking at how many acres do I need to have to get a $450,000 used combine?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I couldn't afford a new $450,000 combine when they cost that much new, farming the same number of acres. Now, how am I going to make that work on? I mean, it's the same math problem, right?
Right.
It all comes back down to those things. So, I don't know. A lot of stuff that we talk about in here is sheer speculation. But to me, I think 22, we see a normalizing combine marketplace. Going into 23, we start talking about, I don't know, these combines are, I think we have to start watching them, you know.
The only thing I will say is this. We're about 30 minutes into a podcast that combines weren't going to be mentioned. And here we are.
For the last 15 minutes.
At least I was going to go with 20, but
Right on.
it is what it is.
Good stuff. Well,
That's the world, man.
That's how we roll, baby.
If it wasn't for combine problems, there would not be a used equipment segment of the business.
Yeah. Combines
held in the regard it is.
Combines in the equipment business, they are the OPEC of the equipment business.
Yeah.
They dictate everything that happens with that business, right? OPEC and oil, combines in the equipment business, man.
Yep.
Right? Because that everything hinges on what combines do.
Absolutely.
It is if a combine values start to shrink, tell me the last time that in 2012 or 13, 14, anything like that, row crop tractors, you can sell a row crop tractor about any time, right? When combines cratered and planters followed right behind them, wasn't that much longer that we were taking a look at whatever they were at the time, 8360Rs and 385 Magnums and those kind of things. And we were dumping them as fast as we could.
Oh, think of the 1,000 to 2,500 hour 360s dumped.
Yeah.
Dumped. Lost money.
Yeah.
Get rid of the damn thing.
Yep.
Don't trade for any 360s.
And everybody forgets that.
What on earth?
They always forget that. Every time we talk about this, they all forget it.
Oh, yeah.
It's the craziest thing. So it is
trading 8Rs for choppers. Just to get rid of them.
Just to get rid of them, yeah.
Man.
Yep. Whew. The only thing we never did trade for was a cod picker.
Right.
And we were close once. You and I were really close one time. Like, we got this guy. If you did this, we got this other guy.
What was it? It was either a CS and we wanted a CP.
It was a CP 690.
And we wanted a CS.
And we wanted a CS because we had a guy. We had a guy in Kansas that was going to buy.
Right.
That was going to buy that.
And if he didn't, Kansas Western cotton is stripper cotton.
Right.
Yeah, we had to have this.
And my old adage was, never trust a stripper.
There you go.
Of any kind. So
that's why we didn't buy it.
That's exactly right. All right.
And here we are, cotton pickerless.
It's not all a bad thing. All right.
We're not picking, but we are grinning.
I feel like that's a good place to jump off, Aaron. People want to get out to you. talk about what's going on, what's the best way to do it?
Give me a call or text 308-760-1193. I am also time to time active on the Twitterverse at Aaron Fintel, Aaron, first name. And one of them should suffice, my good man.
Yep. And you can find me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. That's where you find the latest edition of the Moving Iron Podcast. Also go to MovingIronLLC.com. Look for more information soon to come about the Moving Iron Summit in Nashville, Tennessee. That's going to be September 6th, 7th, and 8th at the Hilton downtown there in Nashville, right off the strip.
All colors.
All colors.
All colors.
I don't care what color you are. I'm colorblind. Come on out and have a good time. So check that out. And check that out. You're going to see a lot of good stuff there. I'll get some speakers out here before too long, get that stuff lined up. But it's a great place to come and go. Aaron's been to the very first one before Moving Iron Summit was a thing. It was just a gathering.
It was a gathering.
Yep. It was like it was a gathering. There were like 10 dealers in there.
Yep.
And that was about it.
No, it was bigger. Even the first one was bigger than that.
It wasn't much bigger than that. There was like 22 people in the room.
Man, really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yep.
Spaced out, I guess.
Yep.
We filled the room.
Yeah, we did. Absolutely. So make sure you check that out. I'll have more information about hotel rooms and those kind of things. So with that, I want to say Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to everybody listening to this podcast. It's been a great run. Thanks for your support over the years, and I truly am humbled by the number of people that listen to this podcast. So it's blown my mind from what it was going to be, what I thought it was going to be, and what it's turned into. And I couldn't have done it without people like Aaron and Sean Haggett, Chip Nellinger, Rich Bosson. The list goes on and on and on. Tanner Emke. I mean, there's a million people that have been a part of that. I want to thank Exxon Tire and Valley and all the people that have been a part of this podcast for a very long time. Dawson Tire, all those people like that have been a part of this podcast forever. And I couldn't do it without you guys, so I appreciate all your support and help. So with that, I'm Casey Seymour with Aaron Fennell. Let's go move some iron, folks. Out. You want to have a meaningful competitive advantage to help sell more equipment. Whether you represent the sales, parts, or management department of an implement dealership, there's a surprising amount of complexity when it comes to tire, wheel, and track technology. Let Axon worry about that so you can get back to supporting your customers. Axon has leveraged years of experience to create a streamlined process that gives you a proven path to help today's grower and sell more equipment. The roots of their organization go back almost 100 years to the invention of the rubber tractor tire. Supporting agriculture is the number one driver of Axon, from product development through sales and service. To find more or become an Axon dealer, head over to axontire.com. This podcast is also brought to you by Valley Transportation. Valley has over 33 years in the trucking business, moving ag and construction equipment across the country. For more information, go to valleytransinc.com or give Parker a call at 800-657-4910. At Valley Transportation, our goal is to help you reach yours.
Moving iron in the 21st century. Hard-working people working hard for you and me. Moving iron time and time again. Through the years you'll find us here.